Hey, everybody. It's Lindsay and the Sober Heathen back together again, causing chaos. And
Hey.
hey, I'm going to share this one more time on the X because I totally just forgot. Do you want to do that too? Oh, we have
Yeah,
someone joining us. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday.
probably my kid.
Nice. Nice. How's everybody doing? No, I just lost where I was.
It's all
I
right.
got
Progress, not perfection.
I got restricted on X for a couple days just because
Really?
I followed um too many people, but I really didn't follow that many people. I thought that was really weird.
Oh shit. People are probably getting sick of me. I don't follow anybody back, but it's like I want to know what I'm getting into. Like I appreciate the follows, but like so many times that I do that, then it's they say something good or follow me, and then they say something good about recovery, and I'm like, oh, I can dig that. And then it's like all political shit all the time,
Yeah, I
or
can't do it.
worse.
If someone's posting a lot of political stuff, I just gotta yeah, it's not good for me.
I mean, I like to talk about it, but that's not what this page is for. So that's
Mhm.
because I'll go down that rabbit hole, and I don't like to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not good for
Yeah.
me. So I'm like, I don't even want to see it. Okay, repost. Wait. All right, so let's get started here. Is anybody in here? Is anybody in here? Join us right now. Okay, tagging you in this.
All right. I'll.
All right. I wanted to talk about reservations and recovery too, if we had time.
Yeah, why not?
Because I didn't get to it well, I kind of did. I got to like people, places, and things, and then I was going to get into reservations, and then I got distracted as
It's all
usual,
good. It's all
you know,
good.
and I was like, yeah. Okay, I think um, you're typing really fast.
Yeah. Gamer.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, as a
More
gamer,
time.
that's perfect.
You're a gamer. Like my
I'm a
kids.
nerd. I'm a Jack nerd hybrid. Very proud of it.
I don't know what that means.
So it means I love sports and I can talk sports and I was pretty good at sports. And then I'm also a giant nerd. Like play a lot of World of Warcraft and Doom and still play a lot of video games.
Justin, yes. Reservations and expectations. Those are literally my faves.
Oh my god, I can put it on the screen. Do you see that shit? I
I've
clicked
been
on
trying
it.
to figure that out.
You just click on it. Ain't that a motherfucker?
No
Oh, I
way.
mean, yeah.
What?
Well, welcome, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
By the way,
Hi,
I'm pretty sure
here.
Justin is a buddy that was on the podcast, so make sure to check that out.
Oh, cool. He's on your podcast?
He was on my podcast, yeah, man.
Yeah, you'll have to
Good
share
stuff.
it. I'll have to watch it. Hey, Justin. Nice to meet you.
So there. So now we know how to do that.
All right. So especially you guys, while we're talking, please interrupt us in the chat and ask, comment, give concerns. Adam's gonna jump on in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
The expert will be here in 5 minutes. That's good.
That is the Adam Head.
The Adam Head. Yep. At the Adam Head on X.
Okay, I'm telling we're waiting on you.
Oh.
Oh.
Lies. We have already started. We are live. And to steal Mike and Mike's thing, back and better than ever.
Okay, so what do we want to start on? Because it is like the weirdest week or the weirdest like chunk of time between Christmas and New Year's. It's like the Twilight Zone. I feel like I'm I don't even know what date it is. What, it's the 29th.
Yep.
It's nice because I didn't really have to work that much this week. So that's the posy. But I know like in sobriety, like early sobriety, it was kind of hard for me. So,
Yeah,
what are,
we were kind of talking about that a little bit. Like, we said something. We were talking about how, like, when people ask, when does it happen? Like, when does the
yeah,
urge leave you? And, you know, the awesome answer and the shitty answer at the same time is like, there is no time. Like,
yeah.
we have no idea. It just happens. So it could be a year, it could be however long it takes. And that's the shitty answer part of it.
But at
Totally.
least the true answer. That's
Yeah, and you were saying like the holidays or whatever. Like last Christmas, I had an ankle monitor on,
yeah.
and no vehicle, and I was stuck at my grandma's, and so the desire to drink wasn't there because I had the monitor on, and I knew I couldn't, and I
Mhm.
was kind of done with it at that point. And then the year before that, I don't even remember Christmas or New Year's or anything like that because I was so drunk. So this is the first one in a long time for me where it's intentionally and seriously sober.
Yeah. It's I didn't really do anything on Christmas, but that was the beauty of it that I just got to relax and I didn't have to rush anywhere. Like I didn't have to get to the drug dealer's house or like, like there was
Yeah.
like it was just me chilling with my kid and you
And
know,
that's it. That I mean, this year I spent the day with my kids for the
yeah,
first time in 2 years, and I have a great video of them opening up their gift,
I shared it.
and yeah, and then I've watched it 100 times since then. It just feels really good. And what I try to tell people, I had a really good day at work today, by the way. I can talk about that later, but
Yeah, please.
it can really. I mean, it can happen in a hurry, folks. It doesn't happen in a hurry to everybody, but it can. And that's something to hold on to. Like,
Mhm.
like I said, a year ago, nobody's talking to me, and I'm alone with my great grandmother in the house for all the holidays. And then fast forward a year, I'm back basically with everybody that I care about, and wounds are healing. So,
It's so fucking awesome. Like that's the shit I love. Like I love hearing people's stories because of that. Um I had I've had like weird stages and I just thought about how I was living with my mom and my son and my grandma for a while and that was rough and I kept like saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm saving money to buy a place, to buy a house." And I'm like, "This is so hard." And just like I was like, everybody, I kind of felt like poor me, like, and then all of a sudden it's like things are still good though, any day that I'm not like on the street, like literally just looking for dope or like getting in trouble and or drinking and in jail, it's like, as cliche as it sounds, it is better, you
that's way better. Yeah.
know. I've had like a it sounds funny, but like a sense of gratitude, like extreme gratitude the past couple days. For me, that's like I know I seem like I'm super positive all the time and happy on social media, but to actually genuinely like, I'm by myself and I'm feeling that gratitude. I'm all right, all
Yeah.
right. I feel pretty good. I'm like fucking finally, like through the ups and the downs. Oh, look who it is.
Hey.
Hola.
Hey, what you doing?
I'm at the casino, actually.
Oh.
That makes me not sober in certain circles, right?
Well, I mean, that's the absolute possibility.
When I was a year sober, I went to Vegas and guess I wasn't sober. I went to AA meetings there. They're a little rough, but we made it through.
Yeah, you'll get the oh, you're treading on thin ice. You're treading on thin ice.
Sir.
Yeah, because you should stop living. That's the whole point of getting sober, right? Like to just quit doing
That's
things that
right.
you enjoy.
That's
You
right.
gotta live in
Yes.
a church basement the rest of your life. That's what gets me, man. Hell yeah.
What
Speaking of that,
are you talking about?
And I'm canceled.
we're talking about We're all over the place. But
It's Friday night, right?
what are you doing?
We literally came up to Cherokee, North Carolina. There's a casino here, and I wanted to go skiing. My mom likes to play slots, so she gets rooms comped. I was like, well, I'm coming too, and I'm staying at the hotel, and I'm driving over to the ski resort. So I went
True.
skiing.
Everybody wins.
That's right. That's right. And I've only lost like $30 at blackjack, so it's a win-win.
That is pretty good. I don't like gambling that much. I love Vegas though.
It's not, it's fun. I definitely have never had the rush from it that some people get that I always equated with drinking. So to me, it's not a dangerous situation because I'm like, I worked really hard for that money. I'm not going to blow it.
Yeah.
It's fun to sit and play sometimes.
I'll go to the casino and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I like to do it when I'm not like concerned about, how much I'm gonna lose. I just want to do it to dicker and waste and hang out. We're gonna say.
Well, I mean, I give myself a certain amount and I play with that, and whatever I win off of that goes in my pocket, and I only play with a certain amount.
True.
So if I say I'd say $200, whatever goes over $200 goes in my pocket. Once if I run that $200 down, then I'm done. But if I keep winning and staying over 200, that keeps going in my pocket, and I'll play within that 200.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, that's what I do too. But like if I take 50 or 100, problem with me is like I'll sit at the penny machines for like 20 or 40, and then I'm like, screw this. I'm gonna go find the $5 machine and see if we can do this now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I want to win. I want it now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play with our new feature here that we figured out. Mike says after you win $10,000, then the addiction kicks in. So I've never experienced that.
Oh.
So I don't know if anybody else has. Maybe Mike's must be pretty lucky.
No. I definitely don't play with enough money to win 10,000.
And so we were going to talk about. We were trying to come up with a topic for tonight, and how to word it, and what we came up with was ego in recovery. So that's kind of what we were going to talk a little bit about. The first thought that came to mind is there's ego that you have to address to recover, some would say. And then as you're going through it, you have to watch, okay, is my ego taking over here on me wanting all these people to love me again, and etc. And then once you get into recovery farther, then there can be ego as in, well, I have all the answers, and you do this and you do that. So that's kind of what we were throwing around.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Justin said, my ego and pride kick my ass. Amen, brother. I feel that.
So then the people that are listening then, and I'll ask you guys this too then, where's the line? Is there a line that we could draw? Because I have to have a certain amount of ego or what did he say? My pride. I take a lot of pride in my recovery and how I feel about it. And I take pride in the work I've done. I know everything can be taken to extremes, right? So we have to literally moderate everything, right? So what do you guys think about that? Because if I wasn't a little bit selfish, I would have never went away from all the people I care about and worked on myself, right? And so a lot of times ego and selfishness go hand in hand, maybe.
What do you think, Adam? Before I ramble.
So that's a fine line that I would say up until about a year ago, I never would have really said you had to be somewhat egotistical to move forward in recovery. I would say in the last year, it's been my experience that you have to get to a point where you are confident enough in your sobriety and your stability, and you have the self-esteem and the self-efficacy to be able to do what you want to do. And like Scott said, there's a difference between confidence, moving forward with purpose and conviction, and assuming you have all the right answers. And one thing I think where this gets blown out of the water is some people talk about ego as we're talking about it with that definition of the self-esteem, the self-conviction, living in the reality. And other people will confuse that, or even us, we confuse that with pride. And so there's a distinction there, and those two terms aren't synonymous, but we use them interchangeably a lot of times. So I think it's important to define what we're talking about, and it sounds like we're talking about pride, and that I know better than everybody else, as opposed to the building up of the self-esteem, which is what sobriety will do for you. And you have to recognize that and take that and move forward with it for recovery to take place.
Good point.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I think self-esteem is a must. Like, I no longer bend, every time somebody comes at me with something different, or they don't like something I say, I like to, instead of just wilt away and say, see that, but well, this is why I think this. Why do you think that? And that's self-esteem. I'm confident in my recovery. I'm confident in what I'm doing. That's creating dialogue. That's completely different than at the casino, dude. Mm-mm. That is a bad idea, because I know what's right for you. And
right.
I think that's what sticks out in my mind when I think about the difference.
Yes. Yeah. So I take it back to the Pulp Fiction scene where Marcus Wallace is like, "That's pride fucking with you." That's what we're talking about, I think, is the pride part of it.
Yeah, I looked up a few things here, and there's a couple different things we can touch on too. Ego is a barrier to recovery. In many recovery philosophies, a strong or uncontrolled ego is seen as a barrier to successful recovery. This is because a person with a strong ego might struggle with admitting vulnerability, acknowledging the need for help, or accepting their limitations. I like that. The ego can foster denial, resistance to change, or an unwillingness to follow treatment or recovery guidelines. What else is on here? Ego
again, that's really pride.
Yeah, this is interesting. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Spiritual aspects. In some recovery approaches, there's a focus on a spiritual growth or a higher power, which often involves transcending the ego. This doesn't necessarily require religious belief, but often involves a sense of surrendering ego-driven control and recognizing a greater interconnectedness with others in the world. So yeah, there is a lot of different ways to look at this. The ego is viewed something that needs to be understood, sometimes subdued or reoriented to aid in the process of healing and growth. The focus on finding a balance where the ego does not dominate one's actions and decisions, but supports a healthy and sustainable recovery journey. I like that. The last part. I'm reading this book. I'm not gonna say I read it. I'm reading it because I started reading it and then forgot. It's narcissism, and it's talks about narcissism on a spectrum. So that kind of brings me to that. Sorry, I was trying to read that. Of how the guy's talking about how, well, I have to have some sense of narcissism, like some of those traits, to have enough confidence or self-esteem in myself to want to focus on myself. And he worded it a lot better than that. But you know what I mean? So it's kind of like what you're just saying, Adam. Maybe it's just
I've wrestled with that question. I've wrestled with that question a lot. And I maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I put something on X about pride in recovery, and that got a lot of feathers ruffled.
Really?
It really goes, but I specifically use the word pride as opposed to ego, because I wanted to convey exactly what you just said about how do we balance, and where do you draw the line, or how do you define the part of you that is the self-esteem and the I am confident in my abilities to move forward. Because I think a lot of people get stuck there in hampering down on the ego when we're talking about pride. A lot of the times the self-esteem gets lumped in there and just smashed. And that can't happen. We've got to differentiate between the self-esteem and the egotistical pride. So that's
Oh,
a question. That's a great question. I love this topic because it's something I've wrestled with for a long time. And I mean, how do you do it? Good question.
yeah, I
So-
mean, no, go ahead. I'm gonna go
Well,
after
I
you.
was gonna say, first of all, like if you look at my background right now, it says sober heat, so that's kind of cool. Like I'm bringing the sober heat right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, so yeah, I think ego is just thrown around, just like a lot of words are thrown around, and like you can't surrender. You gotta let your ego go. You don't know more than the people that have been here and done that, but it's completely lost. So what I feel like happens is when you're doing the work in some groups, you're reading the book, you're showing up to meetings, you're doing all these things. That is led to be believed by some people that that is letting go of ego because you're showing up and you're doing all the work that they talk about. They forget that when they start sitting on a pedestal and talking about not how we did it, but how you should do it, that's still ego. And so if what you read earlier, Lindsay, like if that's true, like if people are saying you gotta let go of ego, well then if your ego is having you come in and talk to complete strangers and telling them how to do it, or they're doing it wrong, or they shouldn't do this or that. So then I guess if dropping the ego is part of recovery, are you in recovery if you're bringing that kind of ego into a place like that? That's kind of what, that's
Yeah.
What about, you know how people say ego is just easing God out? And so there's that kind of, I don't want to say definition of it, but it I think of like egotistical, and the way that I differentiate for myself is, one of you said it, like knowing all the answers, and it's like ignorance almost. I don't know what the right word would be, like um the ignorance to believe that like I have all the answers, like the audacity to believe that. That's what I think of like egotistical. But confidence is, well, opposite of egotistical is what? Like humility. So then humility is right size and no telling the truth about myself, right? Like where I actually am in the world. And that's not over uh that's not like saying I'm the sober heathen son. So cute. Um, saying my skills and abilities are what they're not, like overdoing it and like overselling it. And I think that that is how I think of ego. I think of like, am I in my proper place? Like in the world or in this? Like, am I acknowledging that I don't have all the answers, that I don't know what I don't know? And
Oh, yeah.
God, right? Like, I don't know. I just that's the biggest thing that I think of. Like the egotistical Lindsay was me when I was using. It was not, it was like false sense of self-esteem and confidence. Like it definitely wasn't real, because it was like the substances enabled me to be what I thought was confident, but it was really just like a empty shell, false
Yeah.
ego. And everybody
I
could
think,
tell
I
me.
think what we've all described is the characteristic of no longer questioning, no
Mm,
longer allowing another opinion to even take root. So as soon as you say my way is the best, or even if as soon as you say the way I do things now is the best way for me to do them, and there is no other way for me to do them, then that is delusional pride.
yeah.
That
when I'm
is what
yeah,
we're talking about.
sure.
The not even being able to accept the fact that there might be something else out there that could help you, or that could be better, could be more efficient, and we're not even talking about sobriety at this point, but there might be another way to do something that is more beneficial to you. And I am by no means Buddhist, and I will probably butcher this, but there's the concept of the divine pride and the delusional pride. And we're talking about delusional pride. And divine pride is, I think, more what we're trying to shift ourselves to, is the self-confidence, and it's perfectly acceptable in my viewpoint to be proud of yourself and proud of your accomplishments and proud of the direction that you're going, because that is going to feed the self-esteem and the self-efficacy. But as soon as you draw that line and this is the only way for me to go, then you have that delusional pride.
Good point.
Yeah, I think the best, when I go into, like, when I first started the meetings and when I went into treatment, and when I listen to speakers or have people on my podcast and I ask a question, like the something that people say, there's 3 words that people say when I know that ego's not involved, when I know their intent is just right. And those 3 words are, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So the people that can't say I don't know are the ones that are sketchy to me. And Lindsay, you and I were talking about one of these people. Again, I won't invoke his spirit by saying his name, but it's a person that can't say I don't know, or you're right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the answer to that. They always have an answer to something like that.
And that's,
I don't know, is very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I run from anybody that claims to have the answers, because you don't need to verbalize how right you are, or, just do it. And so the people that I hear like running their mouths, I'm weary right away. And I'm like, red alert. Nah. Like, if you think you know the answers, there's something wrong with you, or you're just full of shit. Like, sorry. Sorry, little heathen.
Well, don't worry. I'll get cussed out for every naughty word that I say when this is all said and done. So
I'm working on it.
Not cussed out. Sorry, because we don't cuss.
Oh, right.
Fussed out.
Yeah. Poop dead. Poop. Frick dead. So Mike says, I feel we all should stay open to others' opinions, as you never know what they're saying might actually work. And
some wisdom.
Yeah, and what works for me might work very damn good for me, but it might not work for the next guy. It might not work for Adam. So the way Adam does it might be a whole lot different than how I do it, and it's still the right freaking way for Adam to do it.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
I hit on this. It just came to my mind in the last live stream, like, so brilliant. Addiction is not the same. Like, we're not even addicted to the same substances or addictions, and we don't all use for the same things. Like, some people want euphoria. They're looking for.
You are skirting blasphemy here.
I'm getting wild right now. I know. And it's such an array spectrum. Oh my God, I'm going to get banned. I can't add that.
Preach.
We're not all
taken away.
The same. Can you believe that? Like, we're not all the same, and we're not like gonna have the same solution. Argue with me all day long. I don't care. I know we have one common solution, and that's what everybody will say, and that's fine. Our common solution is recovery. To me, this is my opinion, right? Like, we're never say louder. Yeah, we're all in the same boat here, just trying to get sober. That is the goal. And when I start nitpicking others, for what they're doing over there, something's going on over here. Like, I'm trying to overcompensate, or like I'm trying to make something right, or something's going on with me that I need to point out something in you. Like, there's something wrong. I'm just
yes, absolutely. What Scott, tell me the page number for an acceptance is the answer to all my problems.
Yeah.
I used to carry that card around in my wallet, but if you keep reading down the paragraph, it says whatever I find that I can't accept in someone else is usually a problem within me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not verbatim, but I'm not a big book thumper.
That's really good. More about alcoholism.
So
Which
yeah,
chapter are you looking for? More about alcoholism.
Isn't
Yeah.
it like if I find something unacceptable, blah, 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 I already forgot. If I find
Yeah.
something,
I don't have my book with me, but I think what you said, Lindsay, is very, very important.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Even if I drink kind of the same as you, oh, you drank a fifth a night for 2 years? Oh, so did I. Okay, so you got that.
Well,
Did you have your parents?
even we can get even more specific because Scott, haven't you said the peppermint schnapps was your deal?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. The 99s, the 99 peppermints.
Nope. Mine were
No?
the arrow, the cheap arrow half pints. Yep.
So yeah,
That's the difference right there.
No,
You know, it
same
goes,
here. But,
you
yeah.
don't have the same job. You didn't have the same lifestyle growing up.
That's right.
You know, you have different coworkers, you have different friends, you live in different environments in your community. These are all
That's right.
factors that make it completely different for everybody. To say the same way is full of ego. It's
Yes.
very egotistical for you to think that you have the one single solution. And I like what Lindsay said at the end too. We have the same goal, but we
Yep.
can't do it the same way to achieve that goal.
right. It's
Yep.
it's not even possible. Like no two people are the same. Period. Ever at all, and not even twins. Right? Not even. I think they share the same DNA. Dude. Like they've been used in studies, right, to show one of them over here is addicted and one of them's not.
Mhm.
But it's like, dude, why would someone have a problem with how you get sober anyways? And I think about that and I'm like, it's great if someone wants to share their experience. It's great if someone wants to say, hey, be careful. This happened to me or whatever, right? Like, watch out. Just not getting loud on the keyboard.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. But
Sorry.
look what Justin said. It says it's a guidelines. What is you mean? Oh, I don't know what red road readings are.
Walking the red road. It's like a Native American approach
yeah.
to everything. It's really cool.
Soul, isn't it soulbriety or wellbriety or wellbriety for Native Americans? My old therapist friend taught me that. A refers to their steps as suggestions.
Oh,
Yeah.
teaching something.
But the thing is too in the books it said doesn't it say like you must do this? So I don't know. There's some contradictions. Like I believe I think like in the big book it says certain things are like a wellbriety. Okay, did I say that?
I think so. I think that was the first one you said, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's fascinating. My friend Belly taught me like the wheel and all this different things. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. See, I got sidetracked. I get sidetracked when I read something. But yeah, so we're all different. Everything's different. I don't have a monopoly. I know that people say that they don't, but then they act as if they do. And I was one of those people. I hate to admit it, but that is because I was so consumed in the environment with others that did the same thing. It was cut and dry that it was like, this is the answer. And I think that I think that our brains, as humans, want this kind of solution that is black and white or it isn't vague or whatever, right? Like, I feel like it's hard for our brains to grasp onto something that is not definite, right? I don't know. I just it seems that way. And even when I'm thinking about stuff that I know doesn't have a specific answer, my brain doesn't like it. And it wants this is it, bitch. Like
Closure.
yeah. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
and yeah.
Once
So
you can complete the sentence, complete the instructions, complete the loop.
yep.
Give me an X to my Y, A plus B equals C. Everybody knows that, so yes, that's what we want. That's why steps work. That's the reason pilots have checklists. I mean, there's certain steps. If you're going to build a house, you don't start with the roof.
Mm-hmm.
There are steps for a reason. So.
No, but
and we talked about that before we got on, Lindsay, is like the shittiest answer and the most amazing answer. And we might talk about it once we hit live too, but the shittiest answer, and the most amazing answer is like, or to the question, when does it happen? When does the urge and the desire to drink leave you? There is no answer, and it just happens, and it's awesome because it really does just fucking happen.
It absolutely does.
Yeah, and then it's shitty because I can't tell you when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah.
It's so hard to, yeah.
I still, and I wrote about this so many times. When I came to this realization that I had this underlying belief of, as long as I don't get caught, it's okay. As soon as I realized that that was fueling behaviors, I was like, son of a bitch, that's right. That's exactly right. And so then when I would have the thought, I'd be like, you know what, that doesn't get me what I want. And I guarantee you, within a matter of weeks, it went away. Now, does that mean, I didn't have the urge to drink, like I could really go for a drink. I didn't have those anymore, but there were times they would pop up. I'd be driving by my favorite store. And I'd be like, man, remember when I used to do that? But that doesn't give me what I want. I keep on going down the road. But you're absolutely right. It does just go away. And I think, and everybody's got to find that for themselves. I don't care how many times you go through the steps, until you figure out what that key is for you, you're going to keep going through the steps.
Repeat
That's why I threw the steps away.
Repeat the last thing you said. Everybody has to what? Everybody
has to find that thought, that belief, that aha moment for themselves.
Sure. And that's why the people that we're kind of talking about with the ego, that's why they can't give you an answer. Well, how many times do I have to work the steps for it to work?
Right.
Well, you just got to keep working them. Well, okay.
Just keep working them.
Just say, I don't fucking know, please. Well, maybe you should get, when I first started my podcast and I started talking about the steps, I got more than once, I got, maybe you should get a little more time under your belt before you start talking about the steps. And then I was like, okay, how much time? Well, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe, 18 months. I'm like, okay, well, is it a year or 18 months? Because I want to know, I want to write it on my calendar so that I know it's official, that I can actually just talk about things that have no real life limitations on when, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the thing too, is like people say, well, when can I sponsor or this or that? It's like, and then like such definitive answer of like, well, when you get a year or this and that's, like, dude, shut up. Like, you don't even like, if we're going to go off of what the program, specific program we're talking about, what the originator, whatever, co-founder, Bill, he did the steps like right away within days. So like, if we're going to get down to that and we can debate it. I love to debate like what really happened and like, how do you do it according to the book? But that doesn't matter. It's all because I want to be right and you want to be right. And it's like, who fucking cares? Just
so
works for you.
Like 3 years ago, I did this coaching program, and the fundamental component right at the beginning was define what you want. And somebody took this really the wrong way on a tweet the other day. It's like, I have everything that I want or need. I tell other people to give to charity. I'm like, you absolutely missed the whole point. Yeah. Define what you want, and then decide, does what you want, is that more important than being right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was not really in the context of sobriety and recovery. It was more about getting into an argument with someone. It's like, hey, do you want X outcome? Okay, well, do you want X outcome or do you want to be right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I want X outcome more than I want to be right. Okay, well then forget about being right.
Right.
Go get your outcome. Now, if you really don't care about what you want on that outcome, then be right. But then that brings you back full circle to, you don't know what you want. Because if you actually knew what you want, you wouldn't care about being right.
Right.
Yeah. That's ego. Yeah. Yep.
So one of the reasons why I harp that one a lot.
Yeah, no, that's great, dude. And that's great. And that's why people, they don't know how to take it, but like I hit that year of recovery. And then the more I got into this and having more discussions or arguments sometimes, I'm done. I'm done counting because I'm
Yeah.
afraid that that number is going to inflate,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to turn into one of these other. Oh well, yeah, you got 800 days. I got 901.
I
That's
did
right.
that. It's not
And,
good.
you know, all of that, take that aside and look at it purely from what we started with, the self-esteem standpoint. If my identity is wrapped up in the number of days that I have sober, and all of a sudden something goes off the rails,
Yep.
and I have to reset that counter,
Boom. It's all fucking gone.
it's gone.
Then what do you do?
Then what?
Right?
That's exactly right. You got to go back and get your white chip.
I know how I
Coming
felt
back.
after losing 4 months, dude. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm at 1 again. I don't even want to start counting over again, but I made myself do it. But because let's see, I don't count because it's a mental goal, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So I got to throw this one in there. I know we're kind of skirting the issue here. So we like to use the disease. It's a disease, right? With the steps, and we have a treatment through the steps. But let's actually use that analogy, and because we say, hey, we have a disease. Well, cancer's a disease. There's a treatment for cancer. It's not necessarily a cure. Well, we have a treatment for addiction. It's not really a cure, but only one of these is the disease where if the treatment doesn't work for you, it is your fault.
OMG.
It is not the treatment's fault. It is your fault. And it's not chemotherapy.
Right. So what happens when you're doing everything by the book?
If I had an applause button, by the way, I would have hit the applause button.
But to answer your question, you're doing everything by the book. You think you were doing it right, but all of a sudden it didn't work for you. Oh, well, you weren't doing it hard enough.
Mhm.
Or you didn't do the steps enough times through, or you left something out of one of your fourth step.
Yeah. You weren't ready.
I think you weren't ready. Yeah, you weren't ready.
Fucking hate
And that's another thing
shit.
that really drives me nuts about 12 steps is it is predicated on the fact that you have hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
If it steps didn't work for you, well, you probably need to go out and suffer some more. You need to really let that cancer metastasize, and then the chemo will work.
Yeah.
So true. I didn't.
That's a great one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, your cancer treatment didn't work. You should go play with some uranium, or you should go, go play in Russia where they had that leak or whatever.
Yeah, right. You got a 50-50 chance of being a superhero.
But yeah, you didn't take your chemo right. I mean, just doesn't that make you sick to say things like that? And it's much the same thing. So, I mean, again, I know none of us, we will talk against something, and that is not us hating on it.
That's very true.
It's not the treatment or the program of AA itself. It's right. Me too, Zach.
Sounds good.
It's not what it was written. If you read what was written, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I think Bill did a pretty good job of what he wrote. It's when, as humans do, we get in here and we put our own spin on it, our own interpretation, and then we start projecting these thoughts and our own interpretations out as if that's what it really is. And then people come in and trust these people and say, "Oh, well, I suck. I didn't do it right."
Yes.
Well, read the book, what it says, and then you'll know. Fact from fiction. I mean, I'm not saying that what Bill said is fact, but you'll know what he meant, or at least have a better understanding of what he meant than people putting their own spin.
Or even what the book said, because people will argue and say, I'm doing it by the book. I'm doing it by the book. It's like, how could we both be doing a different program, but we both think we're following the book? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But you're Catholic and you're Baptist and you're Methodist, we're all doing it by the book. No, well, somebody's not.
I don't know. And it's like, I don't know. So I think that that's another thing is people get lost in that and the arguments and the petty shit of well, you can't sponsor until you have a year. It's like, dude, I thought we were working on recovery. What's going on? It's pure ego and I'm right. And that this is how you should do it. It doesn't someone else's recovery really has nothing to do with me, at all. And And then I don't understand like the 2 cents putting that in, and I'm gonna bring this up. One of our friends got it was, I think it was in a comment too. I don't even think it was just like a message, which it doesn't matter. It's still bullshit. But attacked for, I don't know. I guess it is called MAT, but it's not really like the traditional type. It's the shot. What is it? Vivitrol shot. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to like talk about her like negatively. I just like feel I was really mad for her when I read that. That someone was attacking her, saying that she shouldn't be in AA or
not real recovery. Yeah.
Not really in recovery. What? What are you talking about?
And that goes back to, and this is what I threw out there for somebody to tell this douchebag that, you know, you forget that, again, Bill W. took LSD to deal with his anxiety and depression. So your God, and I hate saying it like that because it's kind of juvenile, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
This program that you're putting on a pedestal, the dude that created it, the program wasn't enough to fix everything. He still had the anxiety, he still had the depression, and he went and sought medical doctors to get LSD to deal with that. So if this dude did that, then it should be okay with you for people to overcome it however they can if they're getting medical help. And by the way, if they do it without medical help, that's none of your business either. But
that's right.
Nothing.
That's right.
Well, so it's like saying, like, well, you're not really sober then, and I'm saying that you're not really sober according to this, and that's like, why even like there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. Like, why even?
Technically, with Vivitrol, you are more sober than anybody because nothing can bind to the opiate receptors.
Right.
You're like, wow, dude, I am legit on lockdown.
Right.
And the thing
Dopamine is in chastity.
They don't even know what medicine is. Most of the people that say shit like that, if not all, they don't even know what the medication is. It's like, really, like, that's kind of, isn't that an outside issue though?
Dude, did you know what I told this guy, you know, finally before I blocked his ass, and he's like one of 2 people that I've ever blocked. I was like, man, if your style, the way that you go after people and what they're doing and what they're not doing, and literally go after them, if that is recovery, I don't fucking want it.
No.
You can keep it.
It gives us
I don't want that shit.
It pushes people away. Some people, how many times have we heard people say it, and well, we've seen it on X, to where they're like upset, rightly so, that someone's attacking them for, they're just trying to fucking quit using and drinking, and you're gonna attack them saying they're not doing it right. They're just trying to not fucking get high. Like, lay off. Like, go help them then.
I want to throw this out there too. Think about this, guys. Like, I think we all, there's 3 of us. I think we have enough experience in AA between the 3 of us. When you go to a meeting, you'll hear people that have long-term sobriety or old timers or regulars, whatever you want to call them. A new person comes in and shares a little bit about their story. They always say, "You're keeping me sober today."
Yeah.
Right. So that fresh story, that fresh person coming in off the street trying to find help, that helps them, right? So I've always thought it curious why they're not allowed to speak, like do a speaker meeting or do these things, because that helps me too. That's why on the podcast, like, I had the one dude on that was only like 3 days sober after a recent relapse. I'm like, no, come on, talk about it. I want people that are in the thick of it to hear this and hear how, okay, you had this, now you're back to 3 days. How do you feel? What are you doing? That's what I want to hear. You know, I like hearing the 30-year stuff too, but what helps me remember is the people that are in it right now, right? And I'm not trying to make an argument for allowing people to speak at 3 weeks or 2 days or whatever. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, I don't feel like we should shun these people from oversharing, as some might call it.
Well, why not? It's almost like, well, but what does it matter if they do, you know? Like, I don't like, a lot of people argue and be like, I was told put the cotton in my ass. What do they say?
I want to go to that meeting.
That's a different 12 steps.
That's all I hear in head when I hear that. I'm like, oh, we get it, we fucking get it. Like, take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. Like,
shut up your ass.
you know what? You're right. Only you deserve to speak because you've got the time. You've got 30 years, and you're doing this. It's like, dude, no, everybody. Like, isn't everybody? Yeah, recovery is recovery. Love is love. Okay, like we're all in this together. You know.
Yep.
Like, what is your I don't know. It's like living by the principles of what is even in the program. It's like if I'm truly living by those principles and doing practicing what I preach, if that is the case, if I'm one of those people, then none of that behavior coincides with that anyways. It's not congruent. It's not. So there's nothing helpful there. And I just don't like it. And I get really fired up and I get really mad and I want to fight for those people that are getting shit on and they're trying to stop.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
do.
not cool.
That's why, I mean, people tell me all the time, dude, why are you even entertaining this asshole? Well, because I know that somebody out there might see this and get turned away from the possibility of hearing something really life-changing. Yeah. Because again, like we said, we don't know when that's going to happen. And there is a perception out there that when you go to certain meetings, especially the AA, the 12-step meetings, there's a perception out there that there's these people in this room that are kind of like gatekeepers that are, once you get in there and you see how things go, and it doesn't happen everywhere, but I've been to enough meetings where I've seen it happen. Oh, so-and-so's not here. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they went back out, and it turns out their dog got hit by a car or something, and so you generate these things, and we're human. This is going to happen every time. But what I'm desperately trying to do, and maybe it's a futile effort or a futile task, but I want people to know that there's positivity out there in the recovery community. If you didn't drink or use today, then you won today, right? And if 10 years doesn't guarantee us tomorrow, then why are we dwelling on that? Just as much as why are we dwelling on things in the future that we can't handle? If you made it through today and you're putting your head on the pillow and you didn't drink or use today, you're a fucking winner. And you need to know that, because I know that when I was at my lowest, every fucking win that I could get, and now, if Easton's still here, he's going to be like, Dad, but every fucking win that you get is so important to get out of that hole. You have to grab onto everything. And that's why I try to be nothing but positive. And then when some douchebag comes in and starts hating on somebody that's taking a shot to give them a little bit of help, I'm not a warrior, and this isn't coming from a place of ego. I promise you, it's just, my intent is good. My intent is to, bring positivity and let them know that these louder people aren't the majority in the recovery community. And that's why I continually say the recovery posse is awesome, because the overwhelming majority of people in that hashtag are fucking great. And there are even some that don't like what I say, but they're like, that's not how I do it. But if it's working for you, I don't care. Right. And that's how it should be.
Absolutely.
What do you got, Adam?
Ditto. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely right. Absolutely.
Well, and I think that's what we're trying to build here. And I think that's why all three of us are on here sharing our recovery, our experience, strength, and hope, right? It's not because I know that, I'll speak for myself, but I know that you guys are having the similar, I'm sorry, I'm just brain farting, having similar goals as me to really just spread the word that everybody is welcome. This isn't like a secret club. You don't have to do things a certain way. I will welcome you. We will welcome you with whatever way, whatever program, whatever non-program, whatever you do. We're just here to support and not judge. And I don't want someone judging me. And so, I don't want to judge anybody else. But plus, it's not productive. Like, it's just nonsense. So,
yeah, and I don't think, I'm sorry to hop in here, but I don't think any of the three of us, if we know you and there is a relationship there, I don't think any of us are going to sit back and not call you on your crap. That's not what we're saying. It's not all of games. But if I don't know you and you're just somebody that I see post on X a few times a week, relapsed again, relapsed again. I don't know you. You know what I mean? So I am not going to step in and say, hey, try. I might say, hey, man, it's all right. You're still here. You're still talking about it. That's my go-to. You're still here. You're still talking about it. Maybe try something different. I don't have the fucking answers because I don't know you.
Right.
Well, to piggyback on that, we've all said it. Scott, you said it a lot. What's the opposite of addiction? Connection.
Yeah.
So I think connection is what we're all trying to put out there, and we're all doing it through different ideas, different philosophies, different thought processes, different ways of doing it, and the hopes that somehow you connect with somebody out there goes, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my goal, is
to
do it that way.
Right. And somebody sees one of our posts. And the thing is, not all three of us are not on the same, we don't do the same things, have done the same things for our recovery. It's completely different. And I don't even know exactly. Like I know you guys from, talking and everything, and we're friends, but the thing is, like, we have gotten together and connected because we have the same kind of philosophy and mentality of, whatever someone can grasp and hold on to, or whatever they hear. Maybe they'll see your post, maybe they'll see my post, and something that I'm vulnerable about, or something that you went through and you struggled and got through. And that's what I think is really, like, the most important thing about getting and staying sober. And it's connection. That's number one. Like, I know it to be true. I'm sorry, I have all the answers, and I know that's no, but seriously, it is, like, it's the most common thing in every single program. Is there's always something about connection. I mean, we're human, and that's a basic need for us to live. So it's not that far-fetched.
Yes.
Yeah. And we talked about that the other night too. The connection come from people, places, and things, right? So I think I told you, it might have been in our chat that we have on X, that listening to certain kind of music is a connection for me. Being out under the stars at a bonfire, that's a connection with a place, right? And then you guys are a good connection and healthy connection for me, and so is the recovery posse. Most of the people in there, that's a connection. These connections don't have to be one single person or one single thing. And it's kind of like the step 5. When you do step 5, if you're doing the 12 steps, you don't have to share it with one person. It never says that it has to be one person. But if you can get everything out and you have somebody to talk to about everything that is on your mind, that's huge. It can be, best friend for this, mom for that, cousin for this, whoever, priest, whatever. Yes. As long as you're getting it out, that's all that matters.
You shine a light on it. That's exactly it. Getting it out.
Yeah. I mean, and so really, like, that's our purpose, I think. I mean, that's my purpose. I agree with me for the most part that Justin said it's a we think baby. Hell yeah, it is. I mean, I didn't realize that other people struggled with addiction in the same way. I thought I was crazy before I literally thought I was crazy, and that there's something really wrong with me. I mean, maybe there was something wrong with me, you know what I mean? But at least I'm not the only one. And that alone was like, whoa, like, so I could get sober and stay sober. And so, I want to be an encourager. I want to be a cheerleader. I don't want to stifle anybody. And I feel like someone that does that, in my experience, or in the past, when I have ever done that, it was because I was miserable and I wanted someone else to be miserable with me. And I was one of those people, when I relapsed and I was not happy, and I'd look at a sober person and be like, just because like misery loves company. And so that's kind of what I think about when I think about someone doing that. Like, I don't feel like,
very true.
I think we're supposed to lift each other up. And I'm going off again. This is that thing with what we were talking about. Someone will say, oh, the unrecovered posse or whatever. And it's one person. And it's so silly, bro. And it made me laugh at first, but it's like, because we're compassionate or something, I think it was. And I was like, whoa, that's wild to say that, because in no way, nobody can condone relapse. That is silly as fuck. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I would never say, "Oh, you relapsed. Good for you." No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
just
but
concentrate on
these same people will condone telling you to go out and drink more. I've been told by these
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
people, oh, you don't call yourself an alcoholic anymore. You're not labeling yourself like that. Well, go out and drink and burn
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm trying real hard to contribute something that is not shit talking.
I mean, shit has to be said, man. I'm sorry, but
I
like,
only play nice when it's the three of us out of respect for you two.
oh,
If
please.
this was my own thing and I was able to do a reaction video, I would be a little more unhinged than I am. I'm gonna tout my own horn and say my restraint I'm showing very good restraint here, and I'm very proud of myself.
Proud.
There you go. There you go.
So let's end with some more with more of the positive recovery side instead of me getting all fired up. Does anybody have anything else that they're any comments, concerns, questions?
I will share something while people are thinking of their questions, because questions are awesome. Those are more fun than hearing us talk the whole time, I bet. But there was I got a phone call today at work. It really weird how things happen, and you guys know my belief system or whatever, but the guy up front had went in the back. I was up front. Phone rang. I sat down, answered it. It was a mom looking. Her daughter is homeless and going through a lot of addiction problems, and she wanted to know if there's anything that we could do. I said, sure, have her come in, ask for Scott, and I'll see what I can do for her. Long and short of it, this young lady comes in, makes a couple phone calls. Within an hour, we had a bed at a treatment center, a ride coming to get her, and off she was going.
Nice.
And tell you what, dude, talk about a quality high, like a dopamine hit. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that was pretty badass.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, like that's hard to I mean, just getting into treatment period because of financial situation for anybody is difficult. And so it's a really big deal. And being able to do it that quick and get someone in. I did admissions for like 5 years, and it was such a challenge. Just so many hoops to jump through, financial, the logistics, just everything, man. And so when you get that person in and you're able to help, you're like, oh, man, like this is the shit that we do it for. I just had a client graduate this week, and yesterday was her 1 year. And that was so cool, man.
Awesome.
And we had her chip. And it's like I got to be there the whole year, and it's like I'm like, dude, you make like I'm telling her, I'm like, I swear to God, like you understand, you like do way more for me than I do for you. And like, I'm not being kind. I'm being serious. Like I'm just being truthful. Like that makes everything worth it. It's those things, like all the difficulty that we experience because the disease, addiction is a bitch, right? I know it's a bitch, and so everything that we can do like against it just feels fucking good,
Absolutely.
All right. Well, questions weren't blowing up, so maybe we were too long-winded today. I don't know, but it was fun. We had a bunch of I said I included that so I wasn't hating on myself, but
true.
You know how I get going. But anyway, this is great. I love doing this. I have the next I got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. So if anybody is interested in the Sober Heathen podcast, hopefully I'm going to be doing more of that or doing more with these guys because
Nice.
these guys are pretty damn cool. So
Aw.
He called me cool.
Yes.
See my shirt, by the way? I don't know. Isn't that conveniently located in my shirt? I don't know how my story ends.
Oh, yeah.
OMG.
But it will never say that I gave up.
That's pretty dope. Where'd you get that?
I like that.
You can get it online. It's a Norse shirt, too.
Online.
Viking on the front. Yeah.
Let's make a t-shirt company. That says everything. Yeah. No, I'm totally kidding.
What was the name that I said that we should do our podcast or call our podcast here? Don't be dicks or something.
I want to be the sober fucks. That's what I want
The
to do.
sober fox. All right. Sorry.
Oh,
You can't watch Dad's podcast when it changes names.
My kid goes, "Mommy, you cussed again," and I'm like, "What are you, the cussing police?" Sorry.
Yep. Get a swear jar.
Sorry, son.
Yeah, Justin, we'll make it work, man. Send me another message. We'll probably do it this weekend if you got time. So.
Oh, I want to see that. Nice to meet you, Justin.
Yeah, you know what? We're not getting paid, so Justin does a lot of. He calls them something drops. I can't remember what he said they called. Anyway, he does these. He calls them some sort of drops on TikTok. He'll probably tell us here in a second if he's still listening, but he does like quick little blurbs on TikTok about sobriety and things. It's really cool. So check out Justin on TikTok.
Send it to me and I'll follow Justin.
Turbo drops.
I don't know. That's cool though.
I think it just means really quick hits. So they're fast drops. So
too cool for me, you guys. I don't know what you're saying.
Shit, cool. We're hip, man.
Yeah, like I'm borderline Gen X, so I'm not cool with the lingo. So
I'm surprised Easton's not here, man. He's got all the bet. Bet's the new one. If you say bet after somebody says something you agree with, then you're cool.
Yeah, I picked up that one.
That is cool.
I had to look up cap.
Cap, yeah.
I don't really get it.
I'm gonna embarrass Easton if he's still here, and if he's not, that's okay. So we were playing Fortnite together or whatever, and he's like, "Dad, I was on earlier and I was clapping cheeks."
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, dude, he's like, I'm gonna clap his cheeks. I'm like, so we should probably talk about what I'm pretty sure this means, bud. And then he's, oh.
Funny. Silas is saying, come in through come in clutch or something. I'm like, what did you hear that from?
In the clutch?
Yeah.
Clutch.
Yeah, 7. I never said that.
Clutch.
Whatever, but the way he said it, I was like, oh, okay.
It's a sports term, like clutch play, coming in the clutch.
Whatever. I don't know. It's a cool thing.
Michael Jordan was very clutch at the end of the game.
Yeah. The key is clutch, not the other part.
Yes.
I don't get it. I thought it was like come through like you fucking.
And you're the youngest one out of the three of us. Holy Christmas.
I don't know. I don't get these kids these days.
All right. Well, this was banging. Let's you guys go clap some cheeks, and we'll catch you on the next one then.
All right, sounds good.
On the flippy side.
We gotta win some money at the blackjack table now.
All right, go get some, brother.
Shit. Relax.
Have a good night, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.